This video isn't going to be talking about what's going on in Israel and Palestine. I have a whole different video planned for that, and it's going to be a prepared video with a lot of research, editing, and scripting in order to make sure that I am able to educate you guys as best as possible on everything you need to know, at least at a beginner's level, about the entire conflict and situation. What I'm going to be talking about is some spicy drama. As many of you guys who watch me probably already know, a friend of mine and fellow streamer, Vaush, did a 27? I think he ended up going for, it was supposed to be 24 hours, but it ended up being like 27. 27-hour charity stream where he played old Nintendo 64 games while raising money for the PCRF, the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, which is a very poggers charity, which is working to raise money in order to help children who have been injured or displaced or become homeless due to Israel's bombings and airstrikes of the Gaza Strip, which is also known as the world's largest open-air prison because Israel is currently, it's like fish in a barrel. Like the Palestinians aren't allowed to leave, and they're constantly getting airstriked. It's pretty fucked up. Half the population of Palestine is children, and I'm pretty sure children aren't members of Hamas, the terror group that Israel claims to be targeting. And unfortunately, a lot of children are getting hurt. And so this charity was meant to raise money to help get doctors and other medical and necessary supplies to these children, and Vaush raised an astonishing $296,000, I believe, nearly $300,000, and it's not even counting the donations that came in for the hours after the stream ended, or counting the donations raised by, here's some honorable mentions, Denims, I believe, raised $8,000. Who else raised money as well? I think it was either Aristocracy or Demon Mama. Oh, Denims raised 10K. Impressive. Who else did charity stream then as well? A few other streamers did it as well. There's some honorable mentions. Yeah, Aristocracy, I believe, did one as well. And the Serfs. The Serfs also did one. And yeah, there was a lot of charity streams that happened all in this short period of time, all for that charity, and a beautiful amount of money was raised. And I was able to take part in Vaush's charity stream. I appeared on there a few times, and it was great. There is nothing but positive things to say about the astonishing amount of money raised to help innocent children who have been harmed in this catastrophe of a conflict. But as many of you guys probably know, Vaush is a very contentious figure on the internet, especially among the online left. And there's an individual by the name of Redacted from Redacted who has a massive hate boner for Vaush, almost as big as his hate boner for Destiny. And this was a clip that comes from his stream that happened during Vaush's charity stream. And as for those of you guys who don't know, Mike is just an absolute joke. Okay, I'm sorry. There's no point in engaging with Mike from PA beyond just making fun of him. The guy's life is... Sorry, I'm doxing him. Sorry, Redacted from Redacted. There is no point in engaging with Redacted beyond making fun of him. There are countless compilation videos of Mike just being a complete joke. From him saying that he's going to win debates by being a big alpha male to... him attempting to put his arm around a girl and then her recoiling from it, and then him going like this, and then him getting roasted by a girl, then proceeding to punch a couch, and then when the girl noticed it, denying that he did it, just saying, oh no, I just bumped the couch, just moved a little. The dude's a fucking joke. Watch any debate he's done with Destiny or with Vaush, it's... Redacted is phenomenally stupid. And one thing he is known for the most is calling any lefty he disagrees with a liberal. And he believes that liberals are basically just fash light. With that said, let's go ahead and see Mike from PA's reaction to Vaush raising nearly $300,000 for Palestinian children.
And the one thing about charity streams and things like that is they're self-promotion vehicles primarily. Um, and I don't like that. A real charity stream would be either somebody who doesn't stream often, streaming just for the purpose of doing the charity stream, or streaming on someone else's channel, hopefully in order to support that organization.
So this is about as dumb as Sargon of Akkad's "I won't debate you if you're streaming because then you'll make money from it" take. So the point of doing a charity stream is for a large public figure who has a large platform to use that platform in order to raise money for a good cause. That is the point. The entire point is that it is a large figure who streams regularly and has a large platform from streaming, doing a stream where it reaches a lot of people and thus raises a lot of money. And that's exactly what happened. As for it being a self-promotion vehicle, inevitably anything that you do on your platform is going to be exactly that, especially a charity stream. People are going to send people your way. People are going to, raid you and host you and so on, right? This is a extremely stupid argument. The idea that in order to raise money for charity in good faith and for it not to be a selfish attempt at gaining more publicity and more popularity and to grow your platform, the idea that the only way to do this in good faith is to do it on a platform where barely anyone's going to see you, to make sure there is no way that you can gain in growth of your platform and popularity from that, is just downright fucking stupid. Downright stupid. And I know Redacted here is a fucking idiot. I shouldn't say that. Redacted, to be fair, has said many things I agree with in the past, and he's not a stupid person. I think he's a very bitter and emotional person who has a very particular narrative that he wants to peddle to his audience. He appeals to the type of people that think liberals are a bigger enemy than actual fascists. So he has to have the take that charity is bad because it's liberal. It doesn't acknowledge the real problem that is capitalism. So charity is bad. Charity is dishonest. Charity isn't a real kind or pro disenfranchised group action. It comes off as being extremely spiteful, and it is.
You know, that would be a true charity stream. But a lot of these charity streams are self-aggrandizing fests where you get a bunch of people to raid into you out of solidarity for the charity. You promote yourself. You virtue signal as if you are...
Oh, yeah, by the way, I want you guys to keep an eye. I know you can't see it too well because my chat's covering it up. I know my chat's not moving super fast right now. I'm recording this segment at 6 a.m. following a 12-hour stream. It just became a 12-hour stream of me playing Rust. So I don't have tons of viewers here right now. I'm also very tired. But if you look at Mike's chat, you can see question mark, question mark, question mark. Come on, Mike. This is a good thing. His own chat starts weird champing him because of this take. This is like the least objectionable thing you can possibly object to, even to the point where Mike's audience, who must be willing to look past a lot to continue being fans of Mike. I mean, it's amazing to me. Sometimes I feel like I've just fucked up too much. I've done too badly in this video or this debate, or I've done this thing wrong, and eventually my audience is just going to say, sorry, Zan, that's one too far. You fucked up too much. You're not good enough. I'm unsubbing. I'm not supporting you anymore. The fact that Mike is still around, and there are still so many people willing to support him after all the dumb shit he's done, gives me hope that no matter how many mistakes I make, I will always still be able to have some platform online and some fan base as long as I keep working hard enough. So that's a little, that always lifts my spirits.
A good person, and a lot of the money that goes to charities goes toward the executive director, the finance director, the fundraising machinery.
So I've already looked at I watched Hunter Avalon's video, responding to this, and he brought up a few pretty good points here. There is a charity tracker. I believe it's actually just called Charity Tracker. There's a organization and website called, Hunter Avalon, by the way. Very based nowadays. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. Watch his videos. He is mega based. Recently debated Lauren Southern. And honestly, that motherfucker won. That motherfucker won the debate. I'm saying it. Hunter Avalon won that fucking debate. No doubt about it, okay? Now, with that said, Charity Tracker has tracked how much of the money that goes from the people donating to the charity goes to the director or CEO or president of said charity, and how much goes to the actual cause. I believe the percentage that goes to the president of the charity is like 1%. I think this charity raises a few $1 million a year, like almost $10 million a year, I believe it was, somewhere in that ballpark. And I know this is the case. The president makes $108K a year out of millions of dollars. Now, 108K is nothing to scoff at. That's more than twice what I make a year, okay? Like, that's a lot of money, all right? However, in the grand scheme of things, that is nothing. Also, if your job is to run a charity, that is your job. Is the president of the charity not allowed to take a cut of the donations in order to supplement their own life? To be able to pay for their mortgage and buy food and live their own life, while millions of dollars is going to the actual cause? If you want to hear more about the guy who is the president of this charity, Vaush uploaded a video that comes from the end of the charity stream in which Vaush interviewed the president, and he was very genuine. If you watch that, you can tell that this dude actually cares about the charity he's running and the cause that he is fighting for. The stories that he was telling, the things that he talked about, it's very clear that he really cares about this. I will not fault him for taking a measly 100K out of the nearly 10 million that goes to the cause itself when that is his job. All right, I don't think he should be homeless on the street because it's bad to take any amount from the donations of the nonprofit that you run. It's his job. Of course, he should be somewhat entitled to some amount of it, okay? Anyway, yeah, very, very dumb take from Mike.
And so, as a leftist, I find most charities to be highly problematic and don't like the liberal mentality of philanthropy.
Holy shit. All right, so here it is. I talked about this earlier. Mike's whole thing is he just fucking hates liberals. He really hates liberals. He calls any leftist he doesn't agree with or that he feels better than a liberal because that's like the best fucking thing that he can do. His audience claps like a bunch of seals for it. You're like, ooh, yeah, Mike, yeah. So there is perhaps a microscopic grain of a point there, but Mike is just so dishonest and so dumb on this take that it is completely irrelevant. So there are a lot of people, and it is a fairly liberal idea, that believe that just donating to charities will completely solve the problems in this world. Like, donating to a charity for the homeless will solve homelessness. There are a lot of people that feel that way. That's just not the case. The way that we're going to solve homelessness will be through top-down legislative changes in how we handle lack of housing in this country. That in the world in general, there are many ways in which we have to go through to like it's insane. But unfortunately, the average person doesn't really have that much power over changing public policy besides elections and, if you're very wealthy and own a company, perhaps lobbying. but there aren't very many corporations out there that have a lot of lobbying money that have an interest in solving homelessness. So you'll probably not see very many companies doing that, or very many millionaires or billionaires lobbying politicians to try to push policy that could help end homelessness. So in the meantime, the best that we can do is raise money, large amounts of money if we've got a big enough platform for it, for charities that will help solve these problems. And I want you guys to think, what can the average American do besides donate to a charity that helps give innocent children that are being harmed in the airstrikes by Israel on the Gaza Strip and in Palestine? What can the average American do to sway the overwhelming consensus among the American government, among the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, that Israel is in the right? I don't think you guys realize, but being against Israel is a very unpopular take in American politics. Most Americans, it seems, are Zionists. And the ones that aren't probably don't even know what the fuck is going on. Let's be real. Most Americans think, brown Muslims? Yeah, probably terrorists, right? Like, most Americans are racist like that and very Islamophobic. Let's be real. Let's be real. Am I right or am I right? Is it a hit or a miss? Most Americans are pretty damn racist, and they generalize brown Muslim people as terrorists. As, like, jihadists and shit like that. The Allahu Akbar fucking... Yeah, right? Complete hit. Not a miss in sight. Complete hit. Bullseye. So with that said, the best that Americans can do that are sympathetic to the plight of the Palestinian people being annihilated and oppressed by Israel, which is an apartheid state by definition, is to contribute in the ways they can to help reduce the damage, reduce the harm that is happening over there in Israel and in the Gaza Strip in Palestine. Yeah. For YouTube, Arab doesn't equal Muslim. That is true. There are Arab Christians there that are also being oppressed by Israel, because guess what? Israel doesn't really like Christians that much either. They're kind of doing a bit of a genocide to the Christians as well. And Arab Jews, too. It is very racial based. You know what? I saw a video the other day where this journalist was interviewing random Israelis on the street in Israel and asking them what their thoughts were on the conflict. And they were saying that, like, a lot of them were basically doing Nazi talking points or fascist alt-right talking points. Like, if you were to replace Palestinians with Jews or black people, it would be the exact talking points your average, like, American alt-righter makes about, like, black people and Jews. Like, it is surreal. Maybe we'll watch that on stream sometime. But with that said, very stupid take from Mike here. Tiny grain of truth in there somewhere, but Mike isn't smart enough to actually say it.
That's just not something that I like to do myself, because I feel like it's disgusting, like it is profiting off of other people's misery, and it's bad.
So yeah, you've got most of the chat weird champing and saying, come on, Mike, are you fucking serious? A lot of people, even from Mike's community, jumped on him for this one, because this might be the most unobjectionable thing ever. It's just a dude streaming for 27 hours straight, putting himself through physical degradation, through sleep deprival, while playing N64 games and raising copious amounts of money for children in need. Because that's basically all we can do. I'm sorry. I don't see any pro-Palestine or Palestine or Palestinian sympathetic policy or sentiment becoming popular in the U.S. government anytime soon. Now, I know what Mike would say in response to this. He may even react to this on stream. Mike would say, well, maybe we should stop electing these Zionist Democrats, these establishment Democrats that'll keep on pushing for Israel's genocide of the Palestinian people. And you know what? That would be fantastic. But unfortunately, even among the Democratic Party, most Democratic voters, the ones that generally decide the elections because they're in the majority of the voting base, most of them are either Zionists or have no fucking clue what the fuck is going on between Israel and Palestine. So I'm going to say this right now. There are 3 things that we can do as American citizens at this very moment to help the Palestinian people with what power we have. The first one, spreading awareness, is the biggest of all. Things like it trending on Twitter that Israel was airstriking the Associated Press and Al Jazeera offices, spreading around videos of children whose homes had just been destroyed, talking about how they're homeless now because Israel just airstriked their house on the Gaza Strip. These types of things help spread awareness about the fucked up shit Israel is doing to the Palestinians, okay? That helps a lot. Knowledge and awareness is the first step. And that leads into the second step. Electoralism. I know, Mike, I know you hate electoralism, but sorry, revolution isn't happening tomorrow. It's not happening in a year. It's not happening in 50 years, most likely. Probably not even 100. So for now, we're stuck with voting. Advocate for, as best as you possibly can, candidates that are sympathetic to the plight of the Palestinian people. Do everything you can to try to get them elected, but don't go all Bernie or bust with it, okay? If you get to the point where the candidate that's sympathetic to the Palestinians just can't win, and a Zionist establishment Democrat wins a primary instead and is going up against a Republican, do not fucking abstain from voting, or God forbid, vote for the Republican over the Democrat. You're going to have to suck it up, but vote blue no matter who. In most cases, to be fair, I think Michael Bloomberg and Trump, that would have been, I don't know. If it came down to Michael Bloomberg and Trump during the what's it called? I'm so tired. I've been streaming for 12 hours. Not the primary, during the 2020 election. It's not primary. It's, what's it called? When you have primary election, which is between parties, there's the Democratic primaries, and then there's the chat. General, thank you. Maeve, thank you. The general election. Do not abstain from voting because your candidate didn't make it during the general election. And then finally, the last thing that your average American can do, especially if they have a platform, is do exactly what Vaush did. Or if you don't have a platform, contribute to what Vaush did. Charities. Charities help. There are actual this isn't just some intangible political thing happening. There are actual people there. I know that might be hard for you to imagine, Mike, but there are actual children right now whose lives will be changed if they are given medical attention. And sure, them having a place to stay and getting medical attention doesn't necessarily solve the root of the problem or the problem as a whole. But you know what? It definitely fucking helps. And I'm going to take people donating insane amounts of money to help dying children who've been airstriked by Israel, real children that exist right now, all the way across the world. They're there. They're alive. Kind of. They're dying, but they're there right now. And their lives could be changed by these donations rather than a sweaty, greasy, which granted I am both those things right now after 12 hours of streaming, LARPy little bitch saying, well, I really think charity is pretty problematic. It's this very liberal idea, that if we just give money, then the problem will be solved. Yeah, it's fucking Nosferatu. I'm going to take what Vaush did over some Weasley whiny little bitch complaining about it any day of the week. For the love of God, Mike, please stop being such an insufferable cunt. This is an inarguably good thing, and the fact that you found something to hate about it because you have such a hate boner from a boy makes you look fucking pathetic. Alright? Fucking pathetic. Alright. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, all of the things. Leave a comment on the video. It helps a lot. If you want to support me monetarily, you can subscribe or donate through my website, xanderhall.com/live, or donate through Super Chat, or hit the join button to become a channel member on YouTube. Those are all appreciated. And you can also pledge to me on Patreon if you want. I appreciate all of those things. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to do this for a living, and this is my dream job. So thank you all so much. I am very, very grateful. And yeah, have a good one.